All right, after the break, we'll sample the coffee you can eat. It's called Caffe Acapella, and its creators wanted to change the world of coffee. Right here on Money for Breakfast, coming up next.
Welcome back. As you are running out the door this morning, you are probably one of millions of Americans who are indulging or will shortly indulge in our favorite morning pastime or maybe even addiction, drinking coffee. Last year, the coffee business was a $12 billion business, and we've seen everything from coffee ice cream to coffee soda to help fuel our fix. And now comes edible gourmet coffee with a new coffee candy bar, Caffe Acapella. And here to discuss Coffee Mania are the co-founders of Caffe Acapella, Mark Izzo and Kathy Niness, and joining them, Mary Petitt, the president of the Specialty Coffee Association of America. Welcome, one and all.
Thank you.
Mary, let me start with you. What is going on here with America's coffee, basically addiction? Is it the Starbucks effect? Why are we drinking so much coffee?
Well, coffee is really almost our national beverage, and I think that the great enthusiasm that Americans have for coffee is because it tastes good, it makes them feel good, and it also does a lot of good because about 22 million coffee farmers and their families depend upon it for a living worldwide.
Good. I like the economic angle there, but it is good for all of us. Mark and Kathy, tell us about Caffe Acapella. How did you start the company, and what are these new candy bar type things you've got?
Well, it's really a totally new type of food. About 2 years ago, Kathy and I were enjoying a cup of coffee. It's a wonderful, wonderful product. And we were thinking about foods and drinks that Americans love the most. And clearly, coffee is the world's most beloved beverage. We thought about what was the people's favorite food. Chocolate came to mind. And we were reflecting on these two foods, and it's interesting that chocolate has been consumed as a drink for hundreds of years. It began in South America, only as a drink, and it wasn't until hundreds of years later in Europe that people made it into a food. So actually, Kathy said, well, why can't you have coffee as a food also? And that's where Caffe Acapella was born.
So
and,
show us the bars, and is it this right here?
Mm-hmm.
So this is this is just a plain old candy bar loaded with caffeine. There we go.
What we have, Peter, are 4 different varieties of gourmet coffee bars, and the one you're holding is actually a caramel macchiato. Mm-hmm. And the caramel macchiato is our sweetest bar it's filled with a soft flowing caramel.
And open one, taste it.
And again, this is not chocolate, it's actually all coffee, 100% coffee beans in there, and that's what makes it so unique. You have a chocolate bar, now you have a coffee bar.
So the equivalent of how much caffeine is in this bar, and I'm going to take a bite here.
There's about 2 cups of, the equivalent of 2 cups of caramel macchiato, if you were to drink a caramel macchiato in a typical coffee shop, in each one of the bars. And
did you try this?
I never have.
Here, take a bite of this. I'm telling you. Boy, that is decadent. That is decadent.
Mm-hmm.
And how many of these have you sold so far? And how many people are glomming onto them?
We're selling nationwide, and we're in over 400 stores in almost 25 states in the United States. So people are really adapting to them quickly. They just love the experience.
And real quick, they cost what?
They're between $2.99 and $3.99 a bar, and people just absolutely love them. It's similar to a price of a fine cup of coffee.
Well, Mark, Kathy, and Mary, unfortunately, we're out of time, but we're going to sit here and munch on this because I'll tell you, it's good, and it's cheaper than a cup of Starbucks. Now, if you have a need for coffee, the 2 best cities to tap into are Los Angeles and, get this, Anchorage, Alaska. L.A. has 801 coffee shops, according to the NDP group, making it the #1 place for coffee shops in the country. But Anchorage has the most coffee shops per capita of any city, 2.8 shops per 10,000 people. Now let's check in with our Fox Business Overseas Markets editor, Ashley Webster, who I know has been just pounding coffee all morning.
You know it, Peter. Coffee, tea, anything. I just love it. You know, what a perfect combo, chocolate and coffee. You can't go wrong with that. Very nice indeed. Save some for me. I'm going to be in town later this week.